And look, while the news is busy distracting us with the usual political circus, the real story, the one that will actually change your life, is happening in the shadows. Now, you've heard figures like Donald Trump talk about a rigged system or a swamp for years. It's easy to dismiss it as just noise, but what if there was proof? A specific, documented plan is being put into motion right now by the financial establishment to solve America's massive $38 trillion debt problem. This isn't about politics. It's about your money, because this plan is how they get out of the colossal bar tab that they've run up by making you pick up the check. It's a plan with a name, the Quiet Default. And now they're preparing a high-tech upgrade to this old playbook, a digital reset designed to fundamentally change the nature of your money. Think of it this way. The government has a debt problem, a massive woke up in Vegas married to a tiger level of debt problem. The normal solutions, spending less or taxing more, are politically unpopular. So they've turned to a strategy that's as brilliant as it is evil: financial repression. Now that sounds complicated, but it's basically this. The federal government and the Federal Reserve work together to make sure the interest you earn on your savings is less than the rate of inflation. So that $100 you proudly put in a savings account, next year it might be $101. But thanks to inflation, what you can buy with it is only worth $97. They're performing a magic trick where your money slowly vanishes into thin air. And the best part is, they get to use that vanished value to pay down their debt. And if you think this is some wild conspiracy theory, you should know this is their go-to move. It's not a bug, it's a feature. This isn't their first rodeo. You see, after World War II, the US had a debt to GDP ratio over 100%, much like today. And how did they fix it? Not with bake sales. They used this exact playbook of financial repression to quietly melt away over 40 percentage points of that debt. So they've done it before, and they're absolutely doing it again. In fact, academic models show that when a country's debt crosses the 100 to 120% of GDP threshold, which we did a decade ago, this becomes the government's optimal strategy. We're currently sitting right now at 124% debt to GDP. We're not approaching the danger zone. We're already in it. And it gets worse because that slow, quiet erosion of your savings wasn't efficient enough for them. Now they're preparing that high-tech upgrade. The next phase of this plan is called tokenization. Wall Street titans like BlackRock CEO Larry Fink are practically salivating over this. He says the future is turning every financial asset, every stock, every bond, every retirement fund into a digital token on a blockchain. And they'll sell it to you as progress and efficiency. And sure, it might make some things move faster, but what it really does is give them a whole new level of control. It's like your power company replacing your old electric meter with a smart one. They'll tell you it's to help you save energy, but what it really means is that they can now turn your AC off remotely during a heat wave. Tokenization is the smart meter for your entire net worth. Once your 401k is just a string of code on a government-adjacent ledger, they can reprogram the rules. That 10-year bond you bought, whoops, a software update just made it a 15-year bond. The value of your digital dollars? A new policy could instantly reduce their value by 20% to stabilize the economy. It's a digital reset button for their debt, and your face is the button. Even a senior advisor to Vladimir Putin has publicly accused the US of planning to use crypto and tokenization to shrink its debt. When Russia is calling out America's debt plan, you know you've got problems. So who's to blame? Well, it's a perfect storm of greed. Politicians spending like there's no tomorrow, the Fed printing money to enable them, and Wall Street building the digital casino to execute the heist. So what can you actually practically do? Because diversify is the kind of useless advice a billionaire gives you from his yacht. So let's be specific. The goal here is to own things they can't easily print, program, or digitally seize. This isn't financial advice, by the way, but rather it's a battle plan for your own financial survival. Number one, own real stuff. The most direct counter to a digital reset is owning things you can physically touch. We're talking about physical precious metals like gold and silver. There's a reason central banks in China, Russia, and India are stockpiling gold at the fastest rate in decades. After the US froze Russia's reserves in 2022, central banks worldwide realized their dollars could be frozen with a keystroke. Gold has no counterparty risk and can't be printed, devalued, or sanctioned. And you don't need mountains of it either. You can buy physical coins or small bars a little at a time. Number 2, own your income. Stop just storing value and start creating it. This means owning a business. And it doesn't have to be the next Google. No, it can be a side hustle, a small local service, an online store, anything that generates cash flow that you control. You see, a business that provides a real service has pricing power. When the dollar's value drops, you can raise your prices. So you're no longer just a victim of inflation, you're actively fighting it or even benefiting from it. Number 3, consider a different digital system. If they're building a digital system based on control, you can look at one based on decentralization. That's where something like Bitcoin comes in. It's a digital asset, but one with no central authority, no CEO, and no Federal Reserve that can print more of it into oblivion. Now, it is incredibly volatile and risky still. It's less like an investment and more like strapping yourself to a financial roller coaster. But its key feature is that it operates outside their new programmable system. Number 4, look abroad. If the US dollar is the currency being devalued, it makes sense to have some exposure to other economies. For an average person, the simplest way to do this is through funds that own companies outside of America. It's a way to diversify not just your assets, but your currency risk. So not all your eggs are in the US dollar's potentially leaky basket. And number 5, own a piece of the earth. This means real estate. It's a classic hard asset. They can't print more land. It's real. It has utility. It's a powerful hedge. If you'd like some help with this, I uploaded some free information for you at frustratedinvestor.com. The point of all this is to have options, to not be trapped in a single system where someone else can change the rules on you overnight. And the truly absurd part of this whole thing is that the US government now spends more money paying the interest on its debt than it does on the entire national defense budget. I mean, we spend more servicing our credit card bill than we do on the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, and Space Force combined. It's like finding out your grandpa is spending more on his Beanie Baby collection than on his heart medication. It's not just irresponsible. It's a sign that the people in charge have completely lost the plot. But what if I told you that's only half the story? What if, while they're punishing savers, the system is set up to massively reward people who do the exact opposite? People who spend way more money than they actually have. They use a completely different, infuriatingly legal playbook to build fortunes using other people's money, often without paying a dime in taxes. It's the other side of this rigged coin. And if you're angry about the quiet default, then you need to see how their system works. And that's why I pulled out this video special for you to watch next. It may or may not anger you even more, but it will show you the rules of the game that you're actually in, and how to play and how to win. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.